Hi everyone, I'm Deirdre Cartmill and I'm the Monaghan County Library's Writer-in-Residence. Welcome to the third of my Monday Musings videos, and today I wanted to talk about how to create characters that really resonate with your reader. There's a wonderful quote from Ernest Hemingway on writing which says, "All you have to do is write one true sentence. Write the truest sentence that you know." I think that's so beautiful and so profound. All you have to do is write one true sentence. That applies to the real people you're writing about as well. You absolutely have to be true when you're writing about people. And I always think of them as real people, not as characters. If you think you're creating a character, then you're liable to create this cardboard cutout thing that's not really human. And really what all writing is about is the truth of what it means to be human. We're all trying to figure out this life. We're all trying to figure out this journey. And an important part of that is reading stories, watching stories, to see how other people do this thing called life. So what you're trying to do is write about another real human being. And when you let that really sink in with you, it will change your writing. So write about the truth of what it means to be human. To do that, you really need to look at the inner values, the inner beliefs, the inner life of this real person you're creating, this real person you want to write about. And really any story, it's about the underlying emotional journey that that character, that real person goes through. We often think story is about the plot, but what really hooks us, what really interests us, is this person who's experiencing all these difficulties and problems and how they cope with that, how they act, how they react. That's what keeps us hooked, and how that person is changed by the end of the story. How going through all this conflict has changed them, made them a better person, or perhaps made them a worse person. So that's really what the story is about, that underlying emotional journey, and it's so important to remember that. So when you're creating this real person, it doesn't really matter what colour their hair is, what colour their eyes are. What you really want to know is that inner life. What makes this human being tick? So some of the questions I like to use whenever I'm creating this other real person is things like, what is their biggest hope? What is their biggest dream? This shows you what is driving them day by day in their life. Another question is, what is their biggest fear? This starts to show you their weaknesses, their vulnerabilities in their life. So even those two questions alone, what this person's biggest hope is and what their biggest fear is, really starts to give you a handle on them. When you're trying to develop this person, you can describe them doing something they love, because again that gives you a little insight into their passions and their desires. It gives you a moment to describe them doing something that makes them happy, something that gives them joy. And then you can go to the opposite and describe them doing something they hate. Again, that's a lovely insight into them. What do they hate doing? Do they love the big vision in life and hate the details? Do they love the detailed work? Do they get lost in it? All these things give a real insight into this person you're writing about. I also like to think about what they do when no one's looking. And that can be a real fun question to ask as well. But we've all got these masks on. We've all been taught a certain way to act in society. What somebody does when no one's looking really reveals so much about them. So you want to give an insight into that in your story when you're writing. And another favourite question of mine is, when are they most vulnerable? When is this person most vulnerable? That is so important, because we want to see both sides of a person. We want to see when things aren't going well for them. We want to see how they cope. But even more than that, what a story is really about is putting this real person under pressure until their mask cracks, until that mask that we all wear every day cracks. You throw so many problems at them, you put them into so much conflict, that it's impossible for them to keep this social mask on. And then we see the real person underneath. And that's what we're really wanting from a story. That's what we love from a story, to get underneath the surface, to see how another human being really is in this world. And the most important thing you can do in order to create these real people who resonate with your reader is to really take a look within yourself. If you want to know what it means to be human, you have to take a long, hard look inside yourself. It's looking at all the good, it's looking at all the bad, it's looking beyond the social niceties. This is how you really understand how human beings tick, because we're all the same. No matter what mask we have on for the outside world, underneath, we're all so similar. We all go through the same things. And then when you've explored yourself and your view of life, your inner values, your inner drives and passions, then you use that to write truthfully, to write that one true sentence at a time. And when I say that, I don't mean you write the facts of your life, but you write from that emotional honesty within you. You know the strengths and the flaws of being human. You know the good, the bad and the ugly. And it's your job to put that into your story, to illuminate the world for other people. Because as writers we are this illuminating, dissenting voice that invites others to think differently and freely. And there's just such power in that. And that power comes from writing the truth, always writing the truth as you see it. And I always like to think that until you look at the truth, you can't change it. So the truth doesn't always have to be beautiful, but once you bring that out into the light, then there's a chance for illumination and a chance for change, and a chance for your reader to go through this vicarious journey with the beautiful real person you're writing about, and to have their life changed by the end of reading your piece. And that's really what we as writers are striving for, to have such a deep impact on another human being that you change their life for the better. So write one true sentence at a time. Write about a true human being, and use the emotional honesty of your own self-exploration to create a beautiful real human being to write about. So thank you for joining me this week, and hope you'll join me next week when I'll be talking about how to structure any story. So until then, take care.